Hello, everyone. My name is Marion with DTM Real Talk Channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love. Good evening. Good evening. This is DTM Real Talk, and we are just keeping it real tonight. And my guest tonight is Brian Pierre. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So say hi to the good folks out there, Brian.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I hope everybody's well. Hope this message finds you well.
Awesome. And I just met Brian, y'all, actually 4 days ago. Have not met him in person, met him on the phone. And we have a mutual friend. This is crazy. This is so God. But anyway, we have a mutual friend. So how did you meet my friend, Danette?
Well, pretty interesting story. I met Elder Casey. I was leaving the Black Men's Mental Health Conference in Atlanta. While in the airport, I actually went through the wrong door, so I had to repeat the check-in process once more. So that was about a 30-minute process. In the midst of that happening, I happened to go to the boarding area. I saw Elder Casey sat right next to me. Then we started communicating and we started talking. And long story short, she said, "Hey, I would love to connect you with, Marion." I said, "Okay, that sounds great. I would love to do that." Then from there, man, it was meant to happen. That had to be God.
It was truly meant to happen. Let me tell you how it was so meant to happen, because the other day I was like, I don't have a story, and I have topics that people actually send to me to talk about, but my cousin and I, for the last 7 weeks, by request, we have been doing episodes on forgiveness, the power of forgiveness and the devastating effects of unforgiveness. So that just went on and on because people kept sending me things to talk about. And so I have some lined up, I truly do. But I wanted to get back to our testimonies because they were so effective, helping so many people. And I said, oh my goodness, who can I get? And I started praying. I was like, Lord, and then you call.
Yeah.
And then you call. So amazing. So where are you from, Brian?
I'm originally from Pompano Beach, Florida. I'm born and raised. Been in South Florida my whole life. My family's background is Haitian, Caribbean. And, we've pretty much been here living in Broward County.
How long have you been in Florida, though? Since how long?
I was born here.
You were born here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a good listener, am I? But you were born here. Okay. So your parents how long have they been here is my question.
They came here in 1980.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So how often do you go back home?
I actually only been there once. Back in 2019 was my first time going to Haiti, but it's not a good place to go right now because there's civil unrest. There's a lot of protesting going on over there where people are turning on each other. Actually, I had a story a couple of weeks ago where they sent some American missionaries and things of that nature, tried to diffuse the situation, and they end up taking those people out, man. So it's serious out there. So
yeah,
right now it's not the best time to go visit.
Wow. I'm actually talking to a young guy that we're our church held let me see how to put it. Yeah, his ministry, he has orphans. His ministry is part of our church. So my pastor pours into him as he ministers. Anyway, he's in, I think it's Ghana. And he was saying it's not a good time even right now. He said the police are just killing people and for no reason at all. And I was like, okay, it's not a good time.
Right.
Not a good time. But anyway, folks, we're excited. I'm very super excited for Brian to share with us. He's going to share his story. And basically, oh, my light just went out. So we're going to talk about, what are we talking about, Brian? Depression? Or is it real mental illness? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, depression,
okay.
mental health.
Okay.
Those things are extremely real. Yes.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Let's just let me hear a little bit more about you. What about siblings?
I am the last of six. I have two sisters, three brothers. Well, basically, I'll go on. Perfect segue to my story. So, my story begins back in 1994. Although I was born in 1989, when I was 4 years old, my father passed away.
Okay.
But the way he passed away led later on in life led to my depression and mental health issues. So 30 minutes prior, because he used to wake up, 3, 4 in the morning and go to work, take care of a family, very strong man. Uh-huh. At the age of 4, I woke up in the middle of the night. I remember it vividly, and it was pitch black. I went to use the restroom. Apparently, in my mind, I missed the bowl. Okay. Not to be too graphic, but
no,
in my mind.
Let me stop you, Brian. This is real talk. We're real talk. Okay. We just real
okay.
talk.
Okay. So all right. So
go ahead.
I'll let it flow. All right. So basically, not too long after he entered the restroom, he slipped and hit his head, most likely on a tub or something, or a toilet. And a few days later, he ended up passing away. So all throughout my childhood, up until my adult years, in the back of my mind, I had unresolved guilt, thinking I was the reason he passed away.
Okay.
And that was the primary root of my mental health, battling that and depression. And my life wasn't going good at the time, and that was the main cause of it.
Okay. So that was the root cause. And you found that out when? After you were an adult, or as you
yes,
were?
Yeah.
Okay. What made you discover that your mind would click back to that time and connect the two?
Well, 2019, heartbreak. I'll answer your question high level. So heartbreak led to me doing soul searching. So in 2019, I was in the process of getting married.
Okay.
But my childhood sweetheart of 11 years, we had a falling out, and I was devastated. I was at rock bottom, and I was living by myself at the time. I haven't owned a TV since 2014. So when I was in my spot, all I had was silence. So in the midst of that silence, I had to do some soul searching. So I just self-reflected and say, hey, what are the reasons, certain things keep reoccurring?
Yes.
And that led me back, chronologically, and all the way back to that first issue that I had. And that was the main cause of, me being, so short with people, me being so standoffish, me, not being able to express love and emotion, things of that nature.
Wow. And Ryan, let me just pause you right there. For those of you good folks that have not seen our last 7 clips, he's just verifying everything that we talked about. Everything. And I didn't know Brian until tonight, well, 4 days ago. So yes, so you did some soul searching. We call that discovery, self-examination. That's what you did, right?
Yes, ma'am. So
continue.
Once I commenced that process, I found that although depression and all these things, those are the symptoms. So in order to actually heal, we have to go to the root. And of course, that was the root.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you were doing in your going short or whatever? What are some of the things that you recognize in yourself that you said, wait, why am I doing this? Where is this coming from? What were some of those things? Give us a couple examples.
For example, not being able to express love, you know what I'm saying? So basically, the way I was raised after that incident, I was not able to express love because it didn't come in the way a child needs it. I'm not putting blame on anyone. I'll just say that. But at the end of the day, when I encountered somebody trying to be, courteous or generous or showing affection to me, I didn't know how to express those feelings.
Okay.
So, as a male, I took it as, being my ego speaking, I took it as, man, I don't care about that. What I'm saying, I don't have to, address those feelings, those issues, but I'm human before I'm a male. So at the end of the day, I want to make sure that, whoever's listening to this, you have to analyze every situation that you encounter, because if you allow these things to pester on year after year, they accumulate. And eventually there's a breaking point,
Yeah.
and the dam is open after that. It's the floodgates are open.
Right. So would you say that most times the person that gets the flack, the back flack, is the person that has no clue?
Yes, and unfortunately, it's the people that we love that are on the receiving end of that.
Yes.
And that was one of the reasons my upbringing and my mental state at the time was one of the reasons why we had my fiance at the time had a falling out. So once I recognized that, I had to do a decision to make. Should I sit in this and continue this path to destruction, or finally do the inner work and overcome this? And that's what I started to do 3 years ago, back in, right before COVID, actually. And from there, man, it's just been a long, grueling process. But I thank God that I'm still here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said one thing I want to park on. You said one of the things you exhibited was the inability to be able to receive love and, give it back. What was another one? Another something in your life that caused you to say, well, hey, why am I doing this?
Well, my main thing was, so I'll give you a brief history here. So back in 2015, I entered commercial real estate.
Okay.
In my early 20s, with the hopes of retiring my mother. So, okay. And I was, I proposed at that time. So I wanted to save up money to get engaged as well, go get married as well, excuse me. And in the process of being in commercial real estate, the burden of those two things, along with taking care of my immediate family and wanted to have a better life for us, when deals were not closing and things started to fall through, that led to my depression.
Okay.
And from there, I started drinking.
Okay. Okay.
The drinking was, the symptom of the depression. So when I started doing the things like that, one night, and I told Sister Elder Casey this, as I'm happy to be here. I'm still happy to be here, and I'll share with you right now.
Yes.
I was working on the first transaction. I had my first mental breakdown. I was working on one transaction, Ritz-Carlton Battery Park, $150 million building in New York. Mm-hmm. And we closed the deal. I was ahead on that deal, but they didn't pay us. They backdoored us and they didn't pay us.
Okay.
$1 million commission. Me, I'm 24, 25 years old. I had a mental breakdown. And one night, I'm at the club, never forget it. I was about to leave. Then a friend of mine said, hey, man, I haven't seen you since high school. Happened to run into him that night.
Yeah.
I stayed about an hour longer, and that wasn't a wise decision. So once I left there, of course, I was consuming alcohol. Once I left the club, as I'm driving home, I blacked out.
Okay.
My car went through a guardrail, and it ended up in a lake. 2:00 in the morning, it's pitch black. I'm in freezing temperature in the lake. In the lake. Okay. Bottom of the lake. To this day, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's God. Now that I look back in hindsight, I did not know how I escaped the car because the windows was up. I somehow escaped the car, made it to shore. I rode about 50 feet to the median. 2:00 in the morning, no car hit me.
Wait, Brian. Okay. So you ran off the road, hit the railing into the lake. And yes, you remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember going down in the water, or do you remember any of that?
Yes. Luckily, I have a great memory. I have outstanding. I have an eloquent memory, pretty much. And once I hit the water, the impact, the alcohol, the drunkenness was gone. survival was the main priority at the time. So
yes.
once I escaped through, I guess the windshield or whatever where it was, it was on an incline. So because the lake went like this, so I had to crawl back up, then roll across to the median. I kid you not, it's 2, 3 in the morning. I would never forget it.
Oh my.
If I could meet these people today, I would, I'm indebted to them for life. There's a couple walking down the street.
Uh-huh.
In my mind, I'm lying on the median. I had a gash in my leg so deep, I can put my whole hand in there and touch my bone.
Oh my.
So I looked at my leg. I said, "Hey, all right, I accepted my fate. I'm gonna bleed out. This is where my life ends." Unbeknownst to me, that couple was walking down the street. As soon as it happened, they called, the ambulance, police.
911. Uh-huh.
I'm going in and out of consciousness. Then, a few seconds later, I said, "Hey, sir, are you still with us?" I see the paramedics there, and I happen to look to the right, and I happen to see a black silhouette of a man holding a woman, and I'm, under my breath, I said, "Thank you."
Wait. So it was a couple.
It was a couple, yeah. They called him immediately.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're right. Thank God you're alive. You're absolutely right. Yes. So you ended up in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And
And basically, lying in that hospital bed, I still didn't want to face all of my past trauma, my past hurt, but that's what depression led to.
right.
Because over time, like I said, it accumulates. And what people don't realize is the longer you sit in something, the harder it is for you to climb out of it. So
Right.
even after all that occurred, I still was a knucklehead, and I was still arrogant and say, "Hey, I'm invincible now," versus looking at a time saying, "Hey, I'm grateful to be alive."
Yes. Yes. So here's my other question. I'm listening. I'm really, really listening now. Uh, you you stated from the beginning how it started, what it led to, but you said something very powerful, and I was trying to fit the pieces in, and I was able to fit it in. And you just tell me if I'm right or wrong. This is real talk. I can take a wrong. Um, your depression stemmed from what you told us about your dad. Well, also the guilt. You were still holding yourself hostage for the death of your
Yes.
dad. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
The guilt is what led to the depression. The guilt,
So
unresolved guilt.
unforgiveness to self.
Yeah. Unforgiveness itself. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes. I hope y'all listening, good folks out there, because he walked through this. Yeah. So now, okay, you're in the hospital and you're realizing where you are and what did it. Go on.
Hmm. And even after that, I come from a rough background. I used to be in the streets. I'm 33 years old. My mid-20s, I was still, even after that incident, I was still out there, messing around, doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But my rock bottom came right when I was turning 30,
Okay.
3 years ago. So after, my then fiance left me, I wasn't drinking, surprisingly, for like 3, 4 months. But I never forget one Saturday morning, I was supposed to go to work.
Let me pause you. What was your
And
rock bottom? What was your rock bottom? What?
this is getting to it right now.
Okay, you're
This
getting
is
ready
gonna,
to get to
yeah,
it.
this is gonna
Okay.
lead to it right now. So,
All right.
one Saturday morning, I was supposed to go to work, but I decided to call off that day. And while I'm at the laundromat, there was a liquor store next door. My first from that the relationship ended in December. From December up until April of that year, I didn't drink.
Right.
So I said, you know what? Let me just go get a couple shots. And I went and got a couple shots while I'm waiting on my laundry. My friend happened to call me. I'm on the west side. He lived on the other side of town. Hey man, we're having a little get together. We'd love for you to come over. And by that time, I was a little tipsy. I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't be driving. Not listening. I happened to go anyways. I told myself I wouldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
I went anyways. And when I got there, there was already drinking, of course, playing spades. After about 2, 3 hours, it's time for me to leave. my friend asked me, he said, "Hey man, you've been drinking a lot of tonight, man. Are you okay to drive home?" I took that as an insult. I said, "Come on, man, this is what I do, man. Don't know, you know."
Yeah.
But he was right. So as soon as I left his complex, I didn't even drive far. Brand new car, had a brand new Cadillac at the time. I made a right. I blacked out again.
Wow.
I hit somebody, and the impact woke me up. Long story short, that guy had a major gash on his head.
Oh,
I
wow.
ended up being friends with him afterward. I apologized to him. But my rock bottom came in the cell. I'm in the cell. I never forget it.
You skipped something. So you hit him. You went to jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No problem. So I'm in the cell, and I dropped to my knees. I never forget it. I prayed and I cried a lot. I said, "God, I thought I was the one. Why does everything in my life either fall apart or disappears?"
Okay.
The silence in the cell was deafening. An audible voice said, "You are the one. I just had to take away everything from you to get your attention."
Wow.
I said, "Wow," and it went on to, the voice went on to say, "Do I have your attention now?" And I was crying. I said, "Yes, absolutely." So that was my rock bottom. And April 18th of 2020, the last time I had a drink.
Wow. Hallelujah, as we say. Thank God. Wow. So, oh wow, this is good. So is it at that time you accepted responsibility for your actions?
Yeah, that day I became a man because I was running for so long. And what people don't realize about depression and the symptoms of it, I'll ask him this: what are you running from?
Mm.
Is it something in your past that you're running from, like I was? Is it something currently that you just feel like you're not capable of facing at the time? Is it someone you're running from?
Mm.
All of these things, lead to. There's a quote: "Only a fool learns from his mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others."
That's right.
So basically, the stories that you tell in people's life story, I hope people really take this serious, because the work that you're doing, you're an angel, you're godsend. People need it, and I'm so grateful to be here.
Wow. I'm grateful to hear you share. I'm grateful for your story. And I'm sure a lot of other people are too. So let's do this. How about, what would you say? You said a lot. You said a mouthful. I'm so grateful right now. What would you say to the individual that's holding himself or herself hostage to himself, not forgiving himself? What would you say to them right now?
You can never understand someone unless you walk them out in their shoes. And based on what you just heard here tonight, I was there. So I understand. You're going through a difficult time and you feel like it's your fault. The first thing I would recommend is forgiveness. Have to forgive yourself for the situation that led to your current condition. With that forgiveness comes peace. The key to healing first is acceptance, in my opinion. So that's normally the last step on the ladder. And here's why I like to place that first, because during the process of grieving and things of that nature, you may find yourself still trying to escape from reality. And in the process of trying to escape from reality, it can lead to something you may not even get a chance to accept it. So accept whatever you're facing at the time right now, accept that. Secondly, forgive yourself. Now, here's a question you would want to ask yourself. Whatever it is that's plaguing you at this moment, how long are you going to continue to allow it to plague you until ultimately it takes your life? It destroys every relationship in your life. And lastly, you're no longer yourself. You're a cell of yourself, And now you're sitting there all alone, isolated, confused. So what you want to do is surround yourself with people that's going to encourage you and uplift you. That's important, because I was going through all this stuff myself. That's why everything occurred and it led to a drastic result. But surround yourself with people that's like-minded. There's different communities or different places wherever you are that allow you to share at least once or twice a week. And that way you can begin the healing process. And once you surround yourself with those people, you have to be vulnerable. Especially as a Black male, one of our things is we have to be a Superman 24/7. But what happens when Superman is depressed? What happens when Superman is going through a breakdown?
Right.
Or if you're a woman in that situation, same thing applies. So once you surround yourself with the right people, you're vulnerable, you open up. Now you can actually begin to repair the damage internally, because I don't care what you do externally. In order to heal, everything has to happen internally. Your internal world is a reflection. Your exterior is a reflection of your interior world. So until you do that and address those core issues, nothing's going to change.
That's right. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. What you just spoke of is what we call accountability. So good folks, I hope you got something from Brian's story, and I hope you apply the little principles and the tips that he's given you. This is DTM Real Talk, and we're just doing what? Keeping it real. And we'll see y'all next week.
Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.